Hello, Reliving the Extreme listeners. Nate Maxson here, and before we get the show started this week's show is we're discussing an episode of ECW that is obviously historic in the history of not only ECW, but obviously 90s professional wrestling at least. It is the episode of ECW where we discuss the NWA Championship Tournament from August the 27th, 1994, where Shane Douglas won the NWA Championship and threw it down and declared himself the ECW Extreme Championship Wrestling Heavyweight Champion. Very historic, a pivotal moment in the history of the promotion that we're covering on this show, and I'm very excited to discuss it. Obviously on this show we discuss the television product that we are watching, that we are viewing each and every week. We're discussing the TV product, and then kind of talking about the backstories, kind of talking about the backdrops. But I wanted to just say really quick, as you are listening to this, there is a good companion piece to listen to this episode. Our friend Dave Dynasty of Wrestling Nostalgia with Dave Dynasty has a podcast discussing ECW. It is called This Is Extreme. It is available on every podcast app you can get. And the reason I'm bringing this up is Dave actually did an episode, his first episode of This Is Extreme, about all of the machinations, everything going on behind the scenes and etc., through the dirt sheets and all that, about this period, about this time, August of 1994 in ECW, concerning the NWA, etc., etc. So I just wanted to mention before we start, if you want to get a deep dive into the behind-the-scenes stuff that was going on at this time, I highly recommend checking out the This Is Extreme podcast with Dave Dynasty, and checking out the Birth of Extreme episode. That will kind of be a good companion piece for our discussion of this TV episode of ECW. So that being said, I will now turn it over to, well, me and Aaron and Chad as we discuss the episode of ECW from August the 30th, 1994, The Birth of Extreme, ladies and gentlemen, and here it comes.
I stand here before God and my Father in heaven tonight, as I said I would be world's heavyweight champion. In the tradition of Lou Thez, in the tradition of Jack Briscoe, of the Briscoe brothers, of Dory Funk Jr., of Terry Funk, the man who'll never die. As the real nature boy, Buddy Rogers, upstairs tonight. From the Harley races, to the Barry Windhams, to the Ric Flairs. Heavyweight title. Wait a second. Of Kerry Von Erich. Of the fat man himself, Dusty Rhodes. This is it tonight, Dad. God, that's beautiful. And Rick Steamboat, and they can all kiss my ass.
What in the hell is he doing?
Because I am not the man who accepts a torch to be handed down to me from an organization that died, R.I.P., 7 years ago. The franchise, Shane Douglas, is the man who ignites the new flame of the sport of professional wrestling.
That's the ECW
Tonight,
belt.
Before God and my Father as witness, I declare myself, the franchise, as the new ECW Heavyweight Champion of the World!
Shane Douglas declaring himself.
We have set out
ECW
to change
World
the
Champion.
face of professional wrestling. So tonight, let the new era begin. The era of the sport of professional wrestling. The era of the franchise. The era of the ECW.
This week on Reliving the Extreme, we are discussing a pretty damn significant episode in the history of ECW. It's going to be covering August 30th, 1994 ECW TV, and the coverage is of the NWA Championship Tournament from August the 27th, 94 in the ECW Arena. And obviously, this is a significant show for ECW. As always, I am joined by my brother Aaron.
What's up, everybody?
And a man who was there that night, Chad Austin.
No, the only reason why I was there is because Archie Mitchell didn't show up. So I took his place.
Instead of a
he
sick,
was supposed
instead
to
of a,
face 911.
Instead of a sick horse, he always said he had a sick llama, that Archie Mitchell.
Oh, that's a shocker.
Sick alpaca.
Alpaca is the name of a car dealership down here where I live.
Is his name Al?
Yeah, it's Alpaca.
That's fantastic.
Like literally, I had spent the last 4 fucking days or 4 or 5 days at Jessica's mom's house because when I broke down at my job, I broke down like in the middle of nowhere, and I had to I'm thinking like, what do I got to do here?
Right.
And they're like, well, you got to call this guy. This guy's got to tow you to, Pohanka. And I'm thinking like, what is Chris Chavez going to do to fix my car? And like, no, it's not Tatanka. It's Pohanka. And I'm just going, so what does that mean? And then I get there and then the guy's like, all right, well, the car's here so I can walk across the street to Jessica's mom's house. And then I just call the next day and they go, you do know it's a holiday weekend. Like
I love the lack of empathy of any sort in that. You do know it's a holiday weekend. I mean, we understand you're screwed, but
yeah, I mean, you can't even just kind of look at it.
Mm.
I mean, open the hood and go, all right. I mean, because my car always has this, and this should be a running thread throughout the whole entire show. The whole entire series is that I have this mysterious blue wire that it's not connected to anything, and everybody looks at my car and goes, "What does this blue wire go to?" And I'm thinking maybe if a bunch of you guys got together.
Yeah, aren't you supposed to be the fucking expert?
And you're the mechanic.
Yeah, if a bunch of you guys got together and you all looked at this blue wire, you could figure out where it goes to.
That's like your doctor looking at you and go, "What is this growth?"
Well, I had that too. Yeah, you know what I mean. It was just like what do you mean, man? And I'm just kind of I'm just standing there going, I don't know what else to say.
Look, you're not supposed to be looking to me for answers. Like I said, you're a professional. What are you looking to me for?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, my car won't start. And the mechanic's like, why do you think it won't start?
This isn't the time for fucking introspection.
Yeah, it won't start. It's not because of my lack of fucking trying. I'm telling you right here, I can give you the. I'm turning the key over as we speak. And do you hear that? The guy goes, no. I go, well, there's nothing there.
Exactly.
Why do you think you don't hear anything? Jesus Christ Almighty! Man. And they decided I don't know. I don't even know what they said. It was beyond. It was my car was Mr. Roboto. It was beyond my control.
Domo arigato.
Yeah, it's like, thank you very much. So we can't do shit for you, man. And I'm like,
Dario Legato, I won't start-o.
Yeah. What do you want me to do? I'm 240 miles. I mean, maybe 300 miles away from being home. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what the fuck do you want me to do? And they're like, well, I guess you'll have to get your car towed.
Jesus. 300 miles?
No. Well, I had that opportunity, but luckily I was, I don't know, I want to say 12, 15 miles from Jessica's mom's house. Like I was somewhere in the vicinity.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned that word from Vince McMahon in the 80s. In the vicinity. And yeah, I was somewhere in the vicinity of getting my car towed there. So they were like, we can tow it here. I'm like, dude, I don't give a shit what you do with it. Just take it to a place the guy's going to fix the goddamn fucking car.
Take it to the blue wire expert.
Yeah, what the fuck is this blue wire? And oh my God, I just had my cat just run outside the door, and it never does that at all. Actually, it never comes in. I'm sorry. My cat never comes in the house. It just came in the house and just darted back out. It's not even my cat. It came with the house. They never told me that when Jess got the house. Oh yeah, we forgot to tell you it comes with a cat.
It wasn't on the listing. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just been one of them weeks where if it can, it will. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like everything. Just I break down on the side of the road, and do I have to wait for this guy to come pick this shit up out of my car? And then the guy comes, picks me up, who's not associated with my company, but he comes pick me up, and I go, well, what do I do? Do I leave the drugs still in my fucking car? And he's like, well, if you want to go somewhere safe, then yeah. I'm going, well, good thing my last day was Friday anyway.
Right.
You know, I already put my 2 weeks in, and it was Friday.
Wait around it out. Yeah.
The first thing I did when I went to the fucking car place was open the back up, and I went, oh shit! Yeah, the guy came and got it.
Got to make sure B Cat gets his medication.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, would you look at that? I showed up, man.
But like I said, the episode we're talking about of ECW here, August 30th, 1994. We open the show with 911 versus the wild card in the NWA Championship Tournament, and it turns out to be Doink the Clown. This is going somewhere. But Kill the Clown chants from the crowd. Doink eats 3 choke slams and gets pinned by 911. And that's how we start the show. What do you think, guys?
Well, go ahead, Aaron. I mean, I'd love to hear your.
I'm just trying to reiterate to everybody that this is actually good Doink. Like when I say good Doink, I mean not like happy-go-lucky Doink. This is Matt Bourne Doink.
So, Psycho Doink, yes.
Yeah, Psycho Doink, and he's eating an apple, which I don't know why it cracked me up. But he was just nonchalantly leaning on the turnbuckle eating an apple.
Well, I mean, I always thought that I don't know why Matt Bourne didn't last longer than he did. Like that always kind of not that it irked me or anything,
mm-hmm.
but I always just kind of wondered why that, you know, it had to have been either a drug issue. I don't know. I mean, I'm speculating. So yeah, I don't want to throw anybody underneath the bus, but I'm saying it was either a drug issue or it was a money issue. And then you can totally take both of them together. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was, yeah.
I would probably lean toward a drug issue in that I don't think I've never heard that he was hard to deal with, you know, as far as I mean, shit, he let WCW book him as Big Josh for 2 years. So, I mean, I don't particularly see that he was difficult to deal with. So I just always have assumed, I guess, that it was probably some demons.
Yeah. I mean, I never went out of my way to go like, hey, how you doing? Big Josh, you know, or, you know, whatever your name is.
But yeah, like Aaron said, this version of Doink in the WWF, I know it's always a joke that WWF had a wrestling clown, but the way they initially booked the gimmick for that company being what it was kind of intriguing, and he had the psycho aspect to it, and that's the Doink he's playing here in ECW, and of course we're going to go into the Born Again gimmick as this goes on. But
you ever seen?
We never got a chance to see that.
Just very briefly.
You ever seen Kevin Nash talk about him?
I have not.
Because Matt Bourne talks about Kevin Nash and says that Kevin Nash never drew a dime and just kind of like knocks him or whatever. And then Kevin Nash goes off on him. And he said in the locker room, they used to call him Krusty the Clown because he never washed his outfit. Like never.
So, would you be upset? I mean, me personally, I don't give a shit. So what? I mean, I don't know. So I never washed my outfit. Do you have to work me?
Right.
You know? I mean,
neither did Vader.
I had to wrestle Bob fucking, I don't know. I think the most I had to wrestle Bob as Doink was 16 nights in a row. And I think that's what it was. It ended up being 16 days in a row, or 15 out of 16 days. But either way, I was like, do you think I went, Bob, did you wash the Doink outfit? How long was I going to be in the ring with him?
Right, yeah, a Doink match isn't going to be that long.
Yeah. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to pretend like I have a gimmick, a foreign object, and you're going to sell like I have a foreign object. And then out of nowhere, you're going to hit me and I'm going to fall down, and then you're going to win. Yeah. There's no need for you to wash your outfit, even though I wish you would.
Please do.
Yeah. I mean,
for your own good, really.
Yeah. He was like, I can't even smell.
Obviously.
Clearly.
Well, after the 911 Doink matchup, Joey Styles introduces the show, and in kind of a nice little thing, he goes, well, he's like, I don't even know how to introduce this show or what we're called, or, conveying the confusion of what's coming up later on in the show, which I thought that was a nice touch from Joey.
Oh, Joey was goddamn good, man. Like, I don't think Joey gets enough credit, honestly, for being as good as he was at his job.
Yeah. I mean, through the whole entire, the only thing he could have needed was a co-anchor, like what was the guy's name that was there first?
Jay Sully.
Jay Sully.
I mean, and Joey Styles could just talk the whole entire show, and you would have not heard Jay Sully. You'd have been like, man, what a broadcast team that was. That broadcast team was that was untouchable, man. And
I'm Joey Styles along with Jay Silent Sully here. Silent Sully.
It would have been like when who was the Mid-South guy with the fucking outfits?
Boyd Pierce.
Yeah. It would have been like Boyd Pierce pitching it to Bill Watts. Like Jay Sully would have been like, I'm Jay Sully, welcome to ECW. What do you think, Joey? And then Joey goes the rest of the show, and then Sully's like, thanks for watching, y'all.
Even better, Jay Sully is in a Boyd Pierce tux or suit every week.
Oh, that's that kind of suit?
Yeah, looks like a stained glass window.
Yeah, he did look like a church, like a church front door.
His head was even kind of small with a little steeple on the top of hair.
Yeah.
All right, so now we get a recap of the feud that's been ongoing between Tommy Dreamer and the Sandman. And then we get the Tommy Dreamer Sandman Singapore Cane match, which this entire segment of this is designed, obviously, to try once again to get Tommy over with the Philly crowd. And
the operative word was what you said was again.
Yes, they've tried multiple occasions to get him over.
This poor guy, dude.
But this time I think it worked. I actually liked the segment.
It started to work. Yes, that's what I have here. It's starting to work.
You're right. I'm not going to argue that.
The match itself isn't anything to write home about. It's the after match. Tommy, essentially what happens is Tommy gets a DDT, but the Sandman thumbs the referee's eye. Woman comes in and canes Tommy, and then Sandman gets the pin, to which a bunch of wrestlers come out of the locker room to protest this. Todd Gordon comes out to restart the match, but Tommy says no, he will take the shots from the cane. So, of course, Joey's over the moon about Tommy Dreamer showing guts here.
Hey, man, he's the martyr.
Mm-hmm.
We have in ECW. I don't know what we've done before that was stipulation wise, but that was a stipulation. And Magnum TA didn't lose the Tully Blanchard and I Quit match. Usually the baby face wins and the heel won. And there's Tommy Dreamer. He's got to take 10 lashes. And with his fat back,
he might be able to do 3.
before he
once
feels
they,
it.
yeah, once they get through that first layer, buddy. So, Aaron, anything about the match itself before we get into the aftermatch?
The match itself was what it was, but it was building towards, like you guys said, about Tommy actually losing and not taking the out, with Ty Gordon saying we'll restart the match. So it's like Tommy being a man and saying I signed up for this stipulation and I'll take my beating. And the aftermath of the match is the fucking story. And
All right, I have
it's
a
really
question.
good.
I have a question for you guys. Take Tommy Dreamer out of the equation. Who's the babyface martyr for the company at this time?
Mikey Whipwreck.
Okay, that's what you say?
Mm-hmm.
But what does that say about your company?
You have a little work to do. I like Mikey. Don't get me wrong, I like Mikey, but yeah, you got a little work to do there.
Yeah, you better find somebody, dude. You can't build your company on a Chad Austin guy that 180 pounds is just getting ass beat every week. Yeah, I mean, so Tommy Dreamer was the only guy, and I'm like, he's got, like, I don't even know who's got a bigger chest, him or Beulah. I mean, who are they putting over? Kimono on a Dreamer? Jesus. What is Tommy Dreamer going to dance atop the ECW arena?
The ever sultry Tommy Dreamer.
Jesus. Why is he going to have them straps make it even worse? Because it draws way more attention to it.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It's not going to be long before he puts a fucking shirt on. That's for sure.
Hey, you got boobies, Tommy. You got boobies. Like, my wife's got boobies, but that's a good thing because she's my wife. She's supposed to have boobies. But, like, if I go to visit my buddy and, like, hey, Tommy, nice boobies. That ain't supposed to be a good thing.
Well, he's got his boobies out here as he is going to take the lashes, the strikes with the cane by the Sandman. And like Aaron said, this is effective. It makes it even better that Woman is there.
Dude, I got to be honest. That shit's brutal. I mean, as much as, but I have feelings for Tommy Dreamer, which ain't a whole lot. And I got to say that, man, I don't know how Paul would have talked me into doing that. Because you saw me take my shots, right?
Mm-hmm.
That shit it ain't fucking good. That shit hurt. And to watch Tommy have to take 10. Like, the shots that I took, I didn't have to take 10.
Right.
I just took whatever Sandman gave me until I decided I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah. And Tommy's got not only got to take 10,
but he's got to I don't want to say act during the entire time, but he's got to do his angle through the whole thing. Like, yes, sir, give me another or whatever. And like you said, Woman did a fantastic job saying, you don't have to do it, Tommy. Just kiss my feet. Just bow down or whatever.
Dude, I would have kissed her feet. I would have pulled her fucking little skirt down.
It's a whole different segment.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why Tommy didn't think ahead of time and go like, all right, I'll just knock her shoes off and then just pull her skirt down and embarrass her. Embarrass Woman. And then I would have just rolled out. But then again, if you would have embarrassed Woman, it wouldn't have been embarrassing Woman. It would have been like sending the ECW crowd into a frenzy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Woman's naked. You know what I mean? Oh my God. I don't think I would even want to look for my car. If the whole entire ECW crowd be like, "Where's my keys at? Let's go," because Woman's naked.
It's time to go.
Yeah, because damn, I mean. Was she or was she not? I mean, let's discredit Missy Hyatt. What, a year and a half later, 2 years later, like take her out of the equation. But wasn't Woman like the Woman?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I'm sure I told this on the story on the show a million times that when you saw her down at the lobby to get coffee, she was dressed like she was going to the arena. Like, she wasn't a job girl. She wasn't wearing, you never saw her wearing sweats like you saw me.
She projected her image at all times.
Probably because she had, 25 years of living that image.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I had 25 years of having money, I'd
also
do the same thing too.
Also from a business wise, I mean, she was with a guy that was all about psychology, Kevin Sullivan, obviously. So she learned a lot from him too, as far as the business goes, and how to project your character and how to work, literally how to work everybody. And yeah, I mean, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I totally agree. Like, woman was like, and it's sad that there wasn't like any chance for her to like teach anybody else. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't even know who was left, women wise, who you could teach, you know what I mean?
Yeah, at this point, yeah, I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Like, who's around to teach a woman how to be a woman in the business? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Right. Maybe Miss Jackie.
Oh, Miss Jackie? Shit, dude. She's going to show you where the nearest cheapest booze is. That's my girl, dude. Jackie's my girl.
I'm just saying, like, she's like probably the last like chick that was like, I don't want to say territory, but that.
No, you're right. You can say that. That's correct.
Yeah, like she's the last chick left that had to get over by being a woman, but being one of the boys in the business,
Dude, Jackie. Like when I got to meet Jackie, and I met Jackie, and I think Bull took me over to meet her, and I met her, and I thought I thought I was meeting like Stone Cold. Like, you're Miss Jackie. Like, she's like, and like she lived in a shitty, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think Reggie Fine lived there too. And I was like, you live with Reggie Fine? and I was like, Miss Jackie. And I gave her all these ideas, and she loved me, and I loved her, but I'm like, but you're Miss Jackie, man. You beating the shit out of these people every single week. Like I love being around you and all, but I don't want to be involved in an angle. She's like, I got this angle. I'm like, no, I don't want to be involved in an angle with you.
Beat the shit out of me.
Yeah, that's how it's going to end. That's how every angle ended. Like, ask Brandon Baxter.
Yeah, I just think she's the last tough broad.
So, all right, so not necessarily as a tough woman, but for this time period, not now, not the train wreck she's become in her life, but at this time, again, not tough-wise, but as far as wrestling psychology and stuff like that goes, what do you guys think of Tammy?
She hadn't even started. Like, Tammy's Hitch?
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, give me your timeline of experience of where she would have figured out how to do anything from Shinola. Where would she have learned anything at?
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, for a minute under Cornette.
To me, it's like what Chad was saying was like, who else is left? It's like, is Tammy going to be able to walk into a bar and fucking handle herself? You know what I mean?
No. Well, that's why I said I'm not necessarily talking about the toughness. I'm just talking about getting over.
Last one. It's like, yeah, fuck you. I can slam you, motherfucker. You know what I
Fucking
mean?
Jackie would go and clean that shit out, and
yeah,
I'd be the guy walking in behind her because I can't figure out how to lock the door in the car. You know what I mean? And I'd walk in. By the time I get in there, like, I'm ready. And she's like,
shit's already handled. Okay,
already handled this.
I look around, I see a bunch of bodies on the floor, and I see Jackie sitting there just slamming a beer.
Like, Lady Hot over here.
I mean, honestly, we could do a whole podcast about yeah. I mean, I love Miss Jackie, and it's too bad that I forgot her address because I don't do the whole Christmas card thing a whole lot. You know what I mean? But if I did, Miss Jackie would get, dude. She was the best. I mean, I loved her.
Yep. No matter what promotion she was in or what role she was in, she always, like you said, she was the best. She gave 100% and was very believable and just all around a great talent.
She was very believable because you couldn't make her anything but a ghetto woman.
Mm-hmm.
She was a ghetto woman, and you couldn't make her anything but that. So, when she was out there and she's like, let me tell you something, you hoe, or whatever. I don't even know what the words are to say. You know what I mean? But she would say all that slang and all that shit, and she would just cuss and shit, and then like the sorry little white girl would come out.
Sable, yeah.
Like Miss Davenport, and you're like, dude, why'd you even come out, dude? Because Miss Jackie's gonna wipe the floor with you, bro. I mean, how long was Miss Jackie there? And we could do a whole show on how many other women came around, while she was there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tony Adams. You know, Chris Adams' wife came around.
Mm-hmm. Who else?
Oh shit.
Lady
And
Blossom.
say Jess. I don't know. I think Jess said fuck who? Oh, Jess said fuck Miss Jackie. I ain't fucking Miss Jackie.
She got bigger dick than me.
Yeah. I mean, go get fucked by Miss Jackie. All right, that's a joke.
Well, back to this segment to wrap it up. Like I have a note here. Of course, this is an effective way to get Tommy over with the crowd. He takes all 10 of the lashings, and then just to put a cherry on the sundae, Sandman takes a cheap shot after, and we actually get a Tommy chant out of the ECW crowd.
I know them fucking 5 people, man. They want fucking banana. I heard.
They just saw Tommy Cairo over at the hot dog stand.
Do you really think that was really a Tommy chant, or they kind of sweetened that?
I bet what it was is it's kind of like what you said. It's not the whole crowd. It's like 10 people, so they just turned the volume up on it. They isolated that chant and turned it up. I'm sure there was an actual chant in the arena, but because obviously this is the thing Paulie's going to see. This is the thing that works to start turning things around for his project on Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah, because we're still not even drawing over 1,000 people, or much more than 1,000 people. But when you hear the chant, it's like EC Dub. You're like, there's nobody doing EC Dub. You know what I'm saying? And I'm even looking around in the locker room like, me and Donnie Allen aren't even doing it. There's nobody doing EC Dub in the locker room. So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure it was sweetened. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Sure it was.
So then we get highlights of the tournament as we're going to head to watching the finals of this NWA Championship tournament.
Jesus Christ.
Shane Douglas beats Taz in the first round by holding the tights. Too Cold Scorpio beats Chris Benoit in kind of a double pin deal. Shane Douglas beats Dean Malenko with a pile driver. Too Cold Scorpio beats 911 with a finish that... Okay, so anyway, what happens is Doink attacks Paulie dangerously outside the ring, but then Matt Bourne attacks 911. Douglas was the Doink. Shane Douglas was the Doink that attacked Paul Heyman, and 911 gets counted out. What's that? Sorry.
It was a decoy Doink.
He was a decoy Doink.
This was on the show that we watched?
Yep. I mean, it was just a recap, like in a little video, just highlighting the matches in the tournament to get to the final. But yes,
I got none of this. Like, I don't have any idea. I mean, the closest note that I have is yet another Sandman promo. I think I wrote that 4 times. Just another Sandman promo.
Here's the Sandman again.
It looked even. Oh, I mean, whatever we're talking about, I wrote it looked even lamer than it happened. It must have been the Kane shots. I don't know, Jess. I don't take great notes.
You fucking fell asleep while you were watching it.
I mean, I should stay awake while I'm watching it.
I say that every week when I watch Raw.
All of it. I can't watch anything. AEW keeps me awake. When I get back up at like midnight, and then I start watching it, and I go like, yeah, man, I'm gonna watch AEW. And I'm like an hour in, I go, never mind.
Forget it.
And NXT, I can't even get to the opening.
No, NXT is like NXT is god awful now. It's like the gaudiest jewelry you've ever seen. It's terrible. It's terrible. Like I'd rather watch 1995 WWF with the Goon and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, who wouldn't want to watch that?
Yeah.
I'd rather watch 1995 AWF. Yeah, like Tito Santana against the Arabian.
Or Jeff Gaylord and the Warlord as the Lord Brothers.
I'm not going to go all that overboard, but yeah, I got you. I understand what you're talking about, but yeah, some of this stuff is like, man, I can't believe that I'm committed to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, I'm committed to this shit.
So the main event of the show, of course, is the NWA World Championship match. It is the ECW champion Shane Douglas against Too Cold Scorpio, and it is a good match. I mean, obviously with the talent involved, they put on a good wrestling match here, and And of course, the overarching theme is because they're great wrestlers. It's the National Wrestling Alliance. It's the NWA. So, what did we think of the match itself? And then we'll get into the aftermatch, obviously, which is a historical thing, especially for this company. Probably one of the more historical things in wrestling in the '90s. But the match itself.
I'd rather hear what Aaron has to say first because I have my opinion on it.
The breakdown of the tournament, like you said, Shane and Too Cold had a good match, but I would have rather like if I would have been booking the tournament, I would have had the finals be Shane and Benoit. I think Shane and Benoit would have had a better match, in my opinion. But other than that, I mean, the match itself is decent and it's two decent workers, and I don't really have a negative thing to say about it.
Yeah, keep it going. We got 20 minutes still. Come on. That's all you got to say? I got nothing negative to say about it?
Like I said, it's just I would have preferred to see Benoit advance to the finals.
Do you think that they did not do that because at this point within ECW and even nationally, Too Cold is technically kind of a bigger deal than Benoit at this point? Benoit had, you know what I'm saying?
Benoit was already signing with WCW, and he would have never been able to fulfill his obligations.
Well, I'm not saying that Benoit would have been the winner. I'm just saying I would have preferred to see Douglas Benoit over Douglas Scorpio.
Of course, yeah. Why wouldn't you? I mean, because you would have automatically thought that Benoit's going to fucking demolish Douglas. I mean, at least I would have thought, like, Benoit's the logical choice, in my opinion. But, I mean, me and you could all sit here, and we never realized they thought about booking a territory around this, right?
Right.
So, you know, we would have thought, like, this is what I would do for this night. For this one night, this is what I would have done. But then we would have said, then what's next? So at least Paul, and I'm not even going to say Todd, at least Paul was smart enough to keep us hanging.
Yeah.
To bring us back. And that's what a good promoter does. That's what a good booker does. He gives you, I mean, that's what ECW was. It's like watching Raw. Yeah. How much do you see of ECW in Monday Night Raw? Just, you don't see it? Like when they like, they like leave you hanging to where sometimes the crowd starts chanting and you're just like, somebody run out there. Or maybe it's not Raw. What company is it?
It's not NXT. We've established that.
I don't know. I watch so many shows, man. You know what I mean? I watch so many shows in a week that I don't know what the fuck. ECW. ECW does this, right? They let the guy run out there.
After the match itself, of course, Shane Douglas gives obviously his most famous promo as Shane wins against Scorpio, and he with a belly to belly, and then Shane Douglas
learned from Magnum TA, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Magnum,
that's what he said. He learned the belly to belly from Magnum TA.
They actually in '92 when Watts was booking WCW, they did a segment on Saturday night for Shane Douglas. They had Shane Douglas and Magnum TA both getting interviewed by JR. And Magnum TA talks about how Shane Douglas reminds him of him and the belly to belly. So that is actually a story from the past.
Don't you remember when he had him belly to belly, the hay seat thing?
No, I don't.
Like he had like the big thing that hangs in the garage. Like it's a punching bag, basically.
With the hay, with like the hay sticking out of it, yeah.
Yeah, and he was like, "You got to grab it, and you got to belly to belly it." And I'm just going, "Really? All right, well, wait till tonight. Jess is going to get a belly to belly."
Well, it is the promo. It is Shane Douglas talking about the history of the NWA. He mentions former NWA champions like Jack Briscoe and of course Dick Flair. And the Fat Man, Dusty Rhodes, and Ricky Steamboat. And then he throws down the NWA Championship, proclaims himself the ECW World's Champion, and the rest is history.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I've already said it, but that was an actual shoot.
And I was reading, because we discussed last week Harold Brody and Dennis Coraluzza and all that. So I went back through some dirt sheet stuff, and apparently Jim Crockett, Dennis Coraluzzo, and Howard Brody were kind of snowballed here and hoodwinked by Todd Gordon and Paul Heyman. They thought that this was all going to be legit. They were still remaining with the NWA, blah, blah, blah. And they pretty much got fucked over, And I mean, like you said last week, Chad, it was surprising that Coraluzzo would fall for something like that. As much as he was keen, he was pretty keen. You would think that he would have smelled the bullshit, but
yeah, keen's a word that I would say. Keen's a good word. Yeah, Coraluzzo was pretty much smart to the business, but yeah, I mean, if you get hoodwinked by Paul Heyman, which a lot of people did,
yeah, no shit.
This guy could be. They could have like a documentary on the Discovery Channel about all the people that Paul Heyman hoodwinked.
This man actually hoodwinked Vince McMahon.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Here they're talking about all these guys. They're talking about how these guys are going to kill everybody and change the world. What about what Paul Heyman did? He brainwashed, millions of people. And there's people that he would still, I guarantee you, Paul Heyman just went on TV and said, I'm going to lead a national charge, to the White House. And he would just yell, EC Dub.
17,000 neckbeards would follow him.
Ham bones be running wild.
Ham bones.
I mean, everybody be looking for Archie Mitchell. Like, please, give me Archie Mitchell.
What's amazing? Yes, that's a good point though too. What's amazing about him as a bullshit artist is that everybody knows he's a bullshit artist, but they still get bullshitted by him and fall for it. Like for 30 years, this guy.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, and a lot of times, even guys like Raven, who I would say like at some point would, after a few years, would be like, are you still believing him? Are you still buying into this? Like, yeah, why? He's like, he's not gonna. There's nothing here, Like,
yeah. I mean, he literally like. I'm sure you guys have heard the stories about how he left Chris Candido and Shane Douglas both with enormous credit card debt because they were using their credit cards to help him keep ECW afloat.
See, that's a whole different story because that's when ECW was getting bigger, like way bigger than I was there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like we had not gotten to that point yet. There's no chance that we had gotten to the point where, we were worrying about flying. You know what I mean?
Right. Merchandise sales and,
we were still trying to figure out how we were going to pay for the fucking travel lodge that, that all the hookers are going to be at. That New Jack had already booked, like kind of thing. So yeah, I mean that's when I was there, kind of thing.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask. Not to step on you guys, like Chad, like when because you said you were there, right, for the tournament when Shane threw down the belt and cut the promo. Like, what was the reaction or lack of reaction of the locker room?
I would have to say, from what I remember, because we had to do a promo afterwards, and I'm thinking that it was on a TV show. It was at the Ramada where Shane threw the belt down again or whatever. But I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea, and I'm just thinking like, here we are. We just had a meeting. And Paul's telling us that we're getting ready to go into business with Jim Crockett Jr., and what ham bone like me wouldn't think that's a great thing? Oh, shit. I'm fucking, 25 years old.
Right. And it's 1994, so you're not that far away removed from Jim Crockett Promotions.
The glory years.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So obviously you're like, oh, shit, Jim Crockett.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to work. I'm getting ready to do something with Jim Crockett. And it's just that nothing worked. Nothing worked. Like, I mean, when I say nothing, I mean, it was promised to be travel,
Mm-hmm.
You get itinerary. because he was going to run multiple tapings.
Right.
Like what was his deal? He was gonna run like multiple tapings, and then shop it around. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because originally it started as if I remember right, it started as Paulie and Crockett, Jim Crockett. They were calling it Pro Wrestling USA or something like that.
Oh, it was the World Wrestling Network.
World Wrestling Network, yes. And then eventually that didn't come to any fruition, so they both started working with the NWA, which was Coraluzzo and Brody and some other promoters, like a loose association of promoters. And I'm thinking what probably happened, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm thinking Paulie and Todd Gordon probably looked at that and thought, I don't know if this is ever going to go anywhere, but we might have lightning in a bottle here in Philly. So let's just fucking do this. Let's do it on our own.
That's what they had, man. Lightning in a bottle in Philly. Like Coraluzzo was too much of a Jesus, what's the word I want to say? Like a commodity.
Mm-hmm.
If you take on Coraluzzo as a partner, you're taking on a lot of other people. And believe me, I don't want to say, and I'm not saying this on the public airwaves or anything, that Coraluzzo has anything to do with people that are made men. Happy birthday, Ray Liotta. But Coraluzzo had a way of making shit happen, and I've seen it, and I was just like, oh my god. Like he's not a promoter that I'm going to go to and say, you stiff me on $75, pal.
I'll break your knees.
No, he wouldn't even say that. You wouldn't even just see me again. Like I'd be in the Observer where somebody goes, whatever happened to the independent wrestler Chad Austin?
Whatever happened to?
Yeah. The last I know, he worked for Dennis. Oh, never mind.
Forget about it.
Yeah. That's what Dennis would say. No, but Dennis was great, man. I used to love, like, when he would come to Baltimore, we would always, me, Dennis Coraluzzo, and Whipwreck, the guy here, and McDevitt and all,
Mm-hmm.
we would always go to Sabatino's. And that was the only time of the year that I would ever go to Sabatino's. And I live like 4 miles from Sabatino's, so me and Miss Jess can go to Sabatino's whenever we wanted, but it's kind of an upscale place. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's overpriced spaghetti is what Miss Jess just said. That's what it is. It's overpriced spaghetti.
That should be their slogan. Hello, come and get us some overpriced spaghetti.
Come on,
that's the name of the show this week. Overpriced spaghetti.
Speaking of overpriced spaghetti, Dennis Coraluzzo now gets interviewed, and I have here because they're interviewing him, like they're getting the candid shot of him, like almost like a getting ambushed by the reporters or whatever about the Shane Douglas situation. And
with the flash photography?
Yes. Did you guys think that he came off as kind of pathetic? Like, he is the NWA champion and he will keep the title and blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know. It just came off as kind of pathetic.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what take that was, but it wasn't the best one. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like literally, I agree with you, Nate. He literally should have came off like, enough with the cameras. That's what I would have been like. Enough with the cameras. I'm getting ready to tell you,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like whatever's going on right now, in the world.
Right.
If you would just stop with the fucking cameras, I'm getting ready to give you the news kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just give me a minute here, but Paul had to be the guy that had like the one camera flashing the one camera.
Just making Dennis look like a fucking idiot. Yes.
Pretty much.
Aaron, anything on that?
I just, like you guys said, I think Carluz came out of it.
Carluzer.
Carluzer. Like, he came out looking like a Carluzer. Like,
it's like that. Yeah. It's like that kid outside.
Swindled.
It's like that kid outside SummerSlam 92. The British Bulldog's going to win the title whether he wants to or not. And, Carluzer's like, he's the NWA champion whether he wants to be or not.
Yeah, it's like, it's just Dennis in this point looked like he got hoodwinked, and he did. And
that's very, very rare.
Yeah, like good or bad, Paulie pulled one over on him, and he didn't know what to do in that fucking situation. And that's how Dennis seemed in that situation.
Yeah, deer in the headlights.
Well, Dennis had to pretty much know by that point that's the end of this.
Yeah.
This relationship is coming to an end.
And as a promoter and a booker, Paul Heyman knew what he was doing by jamming cameras in Dennis Coraluzza's face right after this happened.
I mean, yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah,
you know, he's like, get him right after it happens.
Don't
even give him time to think. Don't give him time to think of talking points. Nothing. Just jam some cameras in his face right after it occurs.
Yeah, that's why you look silly, because you don't know what you're going to say. You don't have any time to prepare for any of that shit. Yeah, that's why I look stupid all the time, because don't give me any time to prepare anything, because I'm just going to look stupid anyway. So if I just say whatever comes to my mind, then I look stupid. Nothing wrong with looking stupid.
Then after,
people don't expect much from you.
And that, honestly, that Shane promo was fantastic. Like what they did to Dennis was pretty shitty. I'm just gonna say it. Like swerving him was shitty and probably shouldn't have been done. But everything they did out of it is fucking great to accelerate ECW.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there would have had to have been somebody else involved. I don't think that was just the Paul and Dennis thing. I don't believe that at all. Because who else was involved in the NWA? That fucking jabroni from the Florida place or
Florida? There was actually a promoter in Australia that was on this version of the NWA.
Yeah,
I don't remember his name.
Asking. I'm not saying. I'm asking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
there was somebody else, so it wasn't like. And I'm just thinking like, what do you guys care? You know what I mean? Look at the big picture. What the fuck? It's the NW Dre. It doesn't even exist. There's nothing here. Like what library do you get? You're not getting the library that the WWE exists, or
right?
You're not getting that, and then Billy Corgan's just starting up, so you're not getting that. So what do you get? Yeah, what's the NWA? You tell me. I mean,
it's like you're getting exactly what Shane said: a promotion that died, R.I.P. 8 years ago.
Yeah, on a hill. It died on a hill.
Yes,
it's exactly what it did. It got to the top of the mountain and it didn't know when it was time to go. Like, yeah, man, we're done here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like instead of putting up a flag of peace, they put up a flag that said for rent.
And Ted Turner was like, "I'll buy that for $1."
Vacancy.
Yeah, that's right. Ted Turner comes in and is like, you know what? If I threw an hour in there at 6:00 in the morning,
their motel sign was like, "Vacancies welcomed."
Yeah, let me call Bob Cook.
HBO.
I'm gonna call Bob Cook. I'm gonna call Mike Winter, and I'm gonna see, can you guys make chicken salad out of this? Let's just see what we can do with. We have like 36 hours of content that we need to produce.
Hey, Fidel's who was that fucking guy? Fidel Sierra or whatever his fucking name is.
Yeah, Dave Sierra.
Yeah, Dave Sierra. You got any fucking videotape?
Do I have any of that?
No.
I was like, I'm not going to tell you.
Well,
I might actually have his camcorder. Is that who I had to Jess? That wasn't Dave Sierra's, was it? Oh, it was Tonga Kids. Never mind.
We end this episode of ECW. First of all, Todd Gordon gives a speech about folding ECW, folding Eastern Championship Wrestling and creating Extreme Championship Wrestling. And then, overall a pretty good show, and they have to go and end it with the Public Enemy being obnoxious.
How were they obnoxious?
Because they existed. But in this segment, they were They essentially spray paint over Eastern on the ECW banner and spray paint the word extreme.
Yeah, but you got to understand that Paul was like, who were the heels? You know, Paul had to make heels,
right?
like real heels, because Hack Myers was a heel. He was loved. Sandman, a heel, loved. He had the shit. He had to turn Public Enemy to be real heels.
Yeah, that's true. We're not too far off from. The good thing is we're not too far off from expanding of the tag division in ECW, and we will be discussing next week a tag title change that also happened on this night, but that is not on this show. But overall, guys, what do we think? We've been through Cabrini. We've been through so much. We've been through Cabrini.
You ain't kidding.
We've been through the early ECW arena shows. We went through a whole series of episodes where Chad had to broadcast from a hotel. It's been quite a journey here on Reliving the Extreme, but we finally got to the point where it is extreme. We are changing over to Extreme Championship Wrestling, and shit's about to progressively get a lot better.
It's not quite about to. I would say another 18 months before it's about to.
For me, it's when Raven shows up. That's me personally. For when Raven shows up, that's when, for me personally, it kicks in.
Well, for me, it's when I leave. No, that's the truth. That's not a rib or anything, because I saw the writing on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't sticking around for this. The gangsters and all. I've already been beat up. I'm not sticking. I literally, that's what it was.
The gangsters are coming. The eliminators are coming.
And then I got to work them. And guess who took total elimination?
I bet it wasn't Donnie Allen.
Nope. It was yours truly. After that, I just said, look, man, I can't do this anymore. I mean, it's not that I don't want to. It's just that, I've been doing this for, at this time, probably, 17, 17, 18 years, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta figure out what, like what I want to do.
Right.
I can't keep driving up here every other weekend, whatever is 120 miles, and let these guys just beat the shit out of me, and go home and wait for the mail to come.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Aaron, any final thoughts before we sign off this week?
Well, I just thought this was like what you said. It basically, guys, like this, not talking to you, talking to the 12 people that are listening. This is the Archie Mitchell. This is the start of actual ECW. Like you said, we've gone through Cabrini. We've gone through all the bullshit of fucking Super Destroyers and Wolfmans and
Jesus Christ, Super Destroyers.
Superfly Jimmy Snuka
and Larry Winters, and we are
Jesus
now
Christ.
into the actual ECW.
Aaron, why didn't you set aside like 40 minutes for a rant for? I mean, Nate, why didn't you set aside 40 minutes for her rant for Aaron?
This is Stevie Lord. Wonderful.
we sat through fucking Stevie Wonderful.
Fucking Cabrini College.
The fucking retard friend of Eddie Gilbert. We've done all of it.
Gillum?
Yeah, Gillum. We've gone through fucking Gillum, Winters, Gillum. We've sat through Gillum. We sat through fucking Larry Winters, fucking Johnny Hotbody, all of this shit. Canadian Wolfman, Max Thrasher.
Who's the fucking guy with the fucking? Oh my god, with the makeup on his face. That he used to work for Maryland too. I can't.
Glenn Osborne.
Glenn Osborne. Yeah.
We've gone through Osborne,
the Bounty Hunter.
We've sat through all.
Who was the fat guy, the Moondog looking guy?
Wolfman?
Yeah, the Wolfman.
We sat through all that shit to get to this. So the 12 of you that have hung on and listened. We're now at actual ECW.
That's why there's going to be 7 next time we do a show.
Yes, and fucking Paul Heyman.
I wouldn't brag about our numbers. You know, Howard Stern never really brags about his numbers.
What was that? Paul Heyman sitting out in his in that Windstar van. Like, we had to sit through that.
Yeah, he's laying there like he's a male model. He's laying in his van with his knee up. Yeah. All right. That being said, let's
all that. So
let's go.
Fucking ham bones. Keep listening. Gonna get
Jesus.
Thank you all for joining us this week on Reliving the Extreme. We will see you next week. Thank you, Chad. Thank you, Aaron. And have a great week, everybody.
Thanks.